What's happening, Aquashella? How's everybody doing today? So this is the Saltwater Scape Off. Who was here yesterday for the Freshwater Scape Off? Hey, it's you again. Saltwater gets a little more difficult because we don't have a lot of stuff to work with. You have typically one kind of rock and you got some substrate. So it's really more about how to make a design aesthetically appealing with limited things, unlike the freshwater guys with the, well, somebody took all the wood back, but you got woods and rocks in different shapes and things. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up two industry titans that are going to go head-to-head here. All right, so the first person up here is we'll bring up the challenger first. From parts unknown, better known as St. Louis, radio personality, and YouTube personality. Might as well be a TV star, too. But a good friend of mine and the podcast I host, Remy from Bahama Llama Corals. Welcome, Remy. How you feeling?
I feel pretty dang terrible right now.
All right, fair enough. You should. Because next coming up is the defending champion, one of the big guns here at the show from Top Shelf Aquatics. Kevin Barada's up here. You're already in trouble. Kevin, welcome back. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to rock.
All right, so gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to split the difference. Kevin takes this seriously, so Remy is in trouble because Remy, I don't know, is very serious about much of anything, right? You're just kind of an upbeat kind of whatever guy.
He brought himself a water bottle.
You might break a sweat. You don't know. All right, so what we're going to do is this is going to be a little longer. Kevin, I decided to make an executive decision. We're going to go 40 minutes instead of 45. 40 minutes, so that's 40 minutes of me doing stupid stuff to entertain you while you watch people stack rocks. It is what it is. You paid money. This is what you get. I can't do a lot for you aside from that. And honestly, there's not a lot of rock up here, so I'm not even sure how much free rock I can give away to people. Because you all know, if you were here yesterday, you know I love giving away rocks. All right, let's get the official timepiece going here. All right, so we're going to start this off, and in 3, 2, 1... Scape off. All right, the clock's running. 40 minutes on the clock. A lot of time to kill here. Going right in. Remy's going with some substrate. Kevin's picking out pieces of rock. It's a race to see who gets something in the tank first. So Remy, I see you prepping sand. Are you a believer in substrate first and then stack Scape on top of it?
Not normally, but I feel like in this situation where it's kind of going to everything's going to be quick. I want something to kind of smush it into. I wouldn't normally do that. No, I'd put the Scape in first, and then I'd put sand around it.
All right. Kevin's picking and choosing first. He's laying out on the table. Kevin has actual tools, tape, a tape measure, glues, some PVC piping, hydration, and some other things there. So Remy's got just a hope and a prayer. That's all Remy brought with him. Remy's going for an interesting. Now we got to come up and talk about this because I'm not exactly sure I've ever seen an approach such as this. What's going on here, buddy?
You know, I feel like I have to go super weird because this is going to be really good, and I got to go the other direction. So
you're just going to go super bad?
It's not bad. It's weird.
You want a piece of candy? Is that going to help you? You want a Hershey's Nugget? I'll open it for you. Oh, all right. I'm going to eat it then. All right, so Remy's burying stuff in sand. Kevin's actually taking this legitimately serious, gluing stuff. Kevin, how you feeling about what you got to work with here? You like the branches, or would you prefer to something else if you had your own choice?
You know, with the time constraints we have here, this branch rock is perfect. The light weight and shape of it is something that I can kind of bond together pretty quickly, and you don't have to really take your time to have the glue set like you would normally do. I do a lot of work with Marco, typically, but the branch rock's nice, and it gives that nice purple look that gives an instant pop and mature look to the tank right off the bat. And it's great for fish onlys too, if you're not really looking to have coral in there to provide the color and everything.
All right, and you're working with some Bob Smith Industry Instaset glue. And then what do you got? Oh, you got Coral Fix Pro. You got a whole slurry of things up here. So based on what you're just seeing now, let's gauge early on. Who's leaning over here to Team Kevin? Who's leaning over to Team Remy? Oh my God, Remy. This could just be a false sense of security just because they feel bad for you. So, I mean, that's not official voting, but so far, I mean, gauging, that sounds pretty good. If we were to end it right now, I mean, I'd have to say I like your chances, but all right, coming in, got Kevin gluing more pieces here together. So, Kevin, that is a gel glue and then an activator you're spraying on it, correct?
Yes. What that does is it instantly sets the glue where it can harden. Now, in order to get it to hold in a short period, you actually have to layer it multiple times so it'll harden within and on the outside, or a thick bond won't really hold without letting it set over a period of maybe an hour or something along those lines. And you really got to hit and reinforce from all different angles to make sure this will be strong enough to lift it up and move it around, and you don't have to worry about things falling apart once you get it in the tank or mount corals later.
Now, are you a big proponent of gluing your scapes together for safety, or is it just because of what you're doing here, you're choosing to glue everything so heavy? Would you normally do this?
Yeah, I actually have gone away from using a lot of the cements and things like that. You know, some of those you don't have to worry about different contaminants and things like that. And a lot of the rock I use, I'm still able to bridge the gap with the glue and get effective bonds. And you know, it may cost a little bit more, but the speed I'm able to work at, it's usually worth it.
You got 32 minutes left, folks. Remy, if you were doing your own personal scape, what is your preferred rock you like to work with? Are you a branch person, or you got Tonga, or what do you like to go with?
I just usually use Marco. I think it's easier to like break up, and I like to do a lot of rubble in my scapes, and I feel like that's super easy to break up. But when you're using branch rock, that's a look. It's a vibe. So when you're doing, like, it's gonna look like this, it's a whole thing. I feel like you gotta base the entire tank around the Tonga. Otherwise it's gonna look weird if you like mix and match a whole bunch of different rocks.
Kevin, for your personal tanks, what do you prefer for rock? Are you I know you said you use a lot of Marco too, but what do you have for an aesthetic that's in your personal vibe?
I mean, I'm always a big fan of the classic Haitian rock. It's one of those ones that they stopped importing years back. A lot of old school reefers know it by the plating characteristics that it had, which was really unique and nice. But these days, Marco Shelf really allows you to kind of shape and build it the way you want, and you know, really create it more like a piece of artwork rather than just stacking things together, and you can really mold it however you want.
And then he's using the Corafix Pro gel glue. Kevin, do you know off the top of your head what Cornerstone uses? Are these manufactured, or?
Yeah, this is man-made rock. I mean, really these days, all the rock coming in and being sold is all man-made. The restrictions on that have really tightened up, and they're just not pulling anything from the ocean anymore. But they've been able to simulate a lot of your classic rocks. Like this stuff mimics the traditional Tonga branch, which was a real popular rock from years ago that kind of creates that more driftwood style look that you would see in a lot of freshwater aquascape. And then they also have shelving style rock and some of the more you know, craggy boulder style as well, to really go for whatever look you're trying to achieve. And the cool thing about it is it's much more lightweight. So, you know, if you're buying it you know, as a customer for a new tank, you're not going to need nearly as many pounds to fill out your tank.
All right, let's do a check-in. What do we think about Kevin's? It's impressive, right? Looking good. Oh, Remy, all we got to work with is your backside, buddy. So, I mean, you know, I should shake it a little or something. I mean, come on. There we go. How's everybody feeling about Remy right now? I don't know, Remy. They're losing interest in you, buddy. You should do something. 40 minutes is a long time. In fact, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna see what the perspective is from down here. I'd move that top one to the left a little. Maybe come back here. Sit here. See. Yeah. Take a look at that. Maybe peek it a little. I don't know. You got to really approach it from the judging perspective.
I see where I'm going with it, though.
I mean, you've come quite far with a pile of sand. I didn't have a lot of faith in you, but you know, you really have made a bigger mess of rocks with sand. So, all right, we got a good angle at Kevin. So, just literally globbing that glue in there and then just wetting it down with the activator, like. You know, Kevin has the luxury. And you see the blue line, this is something you probably didn't see, but you see the tape that Kevin put on the table? So that's essentially the footprint of the tank. So he knows how big to make the pieces that will go inside the tank by taping out the footprint. That's a really good technique if you're doing, you know, working at home and you don't really know what you want to do, especially if you can do it kind of near a wall and tape your front or your footprint and then the height and then kind of build your scape like that. Excuse me. It is a good way to make sure that you're building stuff that's appropriate for your tank. Some things to consider for anybody here thinking about a saltwater tank that doesn't have one yet. One, two, a couple people. Something to consider when you're putting your rock in is you always want to make sure you have room between the rock and the glass to get stuff in there to clean it. So I usually judge by my hand, make sure my hand at least fits in there, or if you have a magnetic scraper that you like, I always put that in there to make sure you have room. The back of the glass, I personally like to lean up against the back of the glass with my scape, so I don't care about that too much, but some people like the full 360 spacing around it to ensure that they can clean all four sides. And then a lot of tanks now are coming with glass overflows, so you can really clean those up too, or you can actually glue stuff to it. So another big technique that a lot of people are getting into is actually growing cresting corals onto the back of their tank. So taking things like GPS and or different kind of caps and stuff that are cresting, gluing a piece up there and letting it just go wild and having the back of your tank kind of be like a living piece of the back of the tank. So, Remy, you need help? You need people to vote? No. This is why don't we do like Price is Right? You guys can just scream stuff at him that nobody can understand, and he can attempt to figure out exactly what it is that you're telling him to do. You could do like higher or lower. I'm going to go check in with Kevin because Kevin actually looks like he's doing something, like a mad scientist. All right, so Kevin is actually building. So this, for anybody that's thinking about it or hasn't done this, or if you're a freshwater only, this is actually a really effective way to do this. So, Kevin, as you're doing this, you were given a specific rock. As you're putting this together, do you kind of have a livestock in mind or coral that you're thinking would go well with this scape that you're building?
Well, for the style that I'm doing here, it would be pretty universal for a mixed reef. You leave a lot of room for coral placement on the actual rock work, but a lot of negative space for a lot of those bigger corals that tend to fill out the open area too. Because if you go a little too dominant with your rocks, a lot of times it ends up just looking like a big rock wall when it fills in with coral, and you may end up coming too close to the glass, or you could have issues, just not having open swimming space for the fish and that sort of thing. And I really like to see that separation in the scape. Creates a real nice effect with depth too when you bring it from front to back with a lot of these different arms, and you kind of tier it as you're going back for placement so you don't block a lot of the corals behind from the visual field. And you all in the crowd will see that once I turn these things around, because obviously you're just looking at the back end right now. But we'll get to that point here soon.
Once he turns it around, there's going to be a big aha moment. In fact, he's requested a giant curtain come up, so when he goes to move it to the tank, you can't actually see the end result. We got it. It's on its way. Don't worry. So all your requests, no green M&Ms, the giant curtain, the everything in the green room you asked for is there, sir. So please. All right. Oh, Remy, I'd like to ask you if you had anything in mind, but it's clear you don't have anything in mind for what you're doing with Escape, so I'm not sure you thought much about livestock, have you?
Oh, no.
No. All right.
I'm thinking like hermit crabs. That's about it. Some blue legs,
Yeah. I mean, that's a solid design. I mean, who doesn't need a $1,000 hermit crab enclosure? I mean, it's absolutely all the new rage, so everybody's doing it.
I actually have a little bit of something going on here, I think. Do you see how it's moving this way? And there's a little bit of like a, don't go over the edge, Nemo. You might get bit by a shark.
I think the official term is a pile of rocks. I think that's what you officially have going on.
They're called hiding spots.
Okay, all right. So very technical work going on over here. Remy's actually a genius. You guys just don't realize it. So all of a sudden, what's going to happen when a giant curtain comes up? He has his own, and he's going to take this all out and put like a whole pre-made scape in here, and then the curtain's going to drop, and it's going to be a big aha moment. Is that what you planned? Okay.
We'll also hold a funeral for all the bacteria that will die today in the sand.
That's true. That is sad. This was live bacteria sand. I don't know why they give you wet sand for this contest, but it is what it is. All right, any more questions? All right, let's check on the time here. We got probably still a lot of time left. 19 minutes. I mean, it's going by. You got 19 minutes to really think about your fate, Remy. Remy, what's your favorite size tank?
310.
You just picked a number, didn't you?
Little Planet Aquariums offers a 310-gallon tank. It's 7 or 8 feet long.
All right. Kevin, you got a favorite tank that would be your go-to if you could only have one tank size-wise?
Well, currently in the shop we have a Reefer 1000, which I'm really digging right now. It's about 7 feet long, nice open space, prefab with plumbing and everything. They're really good tanks. The new ones even come with a refugium option built in. As far as someone who's a beginner hobbyist as well too, they're really easy to kind of get off the ground, and there's a lot of things you can tweak too, even for advanced hobbyists, if you're really trying to make it a little more custom as well. So they're great starter tanks, and that's really what we probably sell 90% of here at Top Shelf.
My personal opinion, I like a big tank. That's bigger is better always, but for a good first tank, I think 90-gallon is always a great way to go. You can put a lot of different stuff in there, and they're a dime a dozen. You can find them everywhere, has them used, or they're inexpensive at Petco. So 90 is a good way to get in, especially for your first tank. So, Remy, what's your favorite fish?
My favorite not reef-safe fish is the Emperor Angel. My favorite reef-safe fish is the Golden Assessor Basslet.
Okay, there you go.
They're great fish because they're super gold, but they've also got like green and red streaks. And near their eyes, they also have a couple like streaks there too. But you can put them in a smaller tank, so I've got them in my 25. They don't get much bigger than I think 4 inches or so. So.
All right, Kevin, you got a favorite fish?
I'd have to go with the convict tang. It's definitely one of my favorites. You don't see as many white fish in the reef hobby, and with the distinct striping that they have on them, they really stand out in a tank. And I've always found them to be one of the best herbivores. They'll eat pretty much every bit of algae that you have in the tank, And you know, sometimes when we have them in a lot of our farm systems, I literally put a new piece in, they'll swim right up to my hand, just peck at it, nip at it. I'll lift up a coral, they'll go and clean under the spot that I just removed the coral at. I mean, they're very personable fish. I had one for years, and it, you know, allowed me to actually pet it and feed it right from my hand too. It's just definitely a really cool fish.
All right, there you go. I like koi tangs and marine beta, which is a member of the grouper family. Not associated at all with the betas that you see out here. Look, oh, Kevin's going in the tank now. Look at that. That's impressive. With 2 lifts from the table, he made yours look like a Sunday school art project, Remy. I feel like if you put some popsicle sticks in there, somebody would hang it on the refrigerator just so you didn't feel bad. All right, let's check in now. All right, who now that Kevin has something you can actually see? How are we feeling about Kevin? How are we feeling about Remy? Wow, Remy. I hope the applause meter 5,000 reflects that intensity that they're bringing here. So yeah, I guess we'll give a shout out. Oh man, Kevin's got tools out now. I'm gonna step back here before I lose an eye. I keep coming back further. The further away you get, Remy, the better it looks. Like if you go around that corner, I bet it looks amazing. Just go out, go down there a little bit. Honestly, it doesn't look bad.
Thank you.
Honestly, I mean, I got to do the whole shtick, but it actually looks pretty cool. I was skeptical of your pile of sand, but all right. How much more rock are you using in there, Remy? You've been looking at it, but you really haven't done it yet. Don't forget, I do shake the tanks afterwards, so we do simulate an earthquake. Earthquake test is mandatory. All right, let me see. Let's check the time. 6 minutes left, gentlemen. We actually got down. I could actually get you some. Here, hang on. I'm gonna text the Fritz hotline and get you some glass cleaner. 5.5 minutes. And delivery from Sarah from Fritz Aquatics. Big hand for Sarah. Please, Sarah, present on stage there. Huge shout out to Fritz for coming through with the glass cleaner, making all the difference. This glass cleaner is actually engineered for electronics and devices, and I use it at everything at home, so highly recommended. Swing by the Fritz booth. Maybe you can convince Sarah to give you one over there. If not, you can always buy one, but you know, who wants to buy things? Going a little heavy there, Remy. You do realize this tank's been used at like 12 Aquashellas. I think those might just be scratches. All right, I better check on the time. We were actually getting close. I don't feel like jumping. Whoa, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, gentlemen. We're coming down to the wire here. All right, folks, time to get excited. Let's hear some energy. Let's give a round of applause to these guys. Let's give a round of applause to yourself for being fun. Give me a round of applause because I'm awesome.
Do you ever use the glass cleaner on the inside?
No, usually there's water in my tank, so typically the water does the job on the inside. All right, so we're gonna do this by applause. All right, Kevin. Kevin, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I think it came out really nice, and just kind of compacting the sand down here to give a more finished look like it'll be when you actually have water in the aquarium.
All right, Remy, how you feeling?
I actually think this is really good. No, I think coming in here knowing this dude's skill level, I think that's pretty good on my part. I do 3 scapes every 3 years. He does 3 scapes every week.
So it sounds like you need more tanks, in my opinion. All right, gentlemen, 40 seconds. Then we're coming down to 35. Once we're done here, I'm going to let each person take you on the tour. They're going to tell you the story of what they're doing here. Who thinks they could put us together like this in 40 minutes? I don't know, not 2 weeks, 40 minutes. Who could just sit down with a pile of rocks and glue up something like this? Anybody? No, all right. Kudos to you, Kevin. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands off. There we go, gentlemen. The scape off is finished. Remy, as the challenger, please give us your presentation on your tank.
Well, like I said, Tonga is a vibe. Like, if you're going to use branch rock, I feel like you got all the caves, you got all the hiding spots you want, and I think the overlapping kind of look is the best looking, like, aesthetically to me whenever I see the Tonga branch. So I kind of wanted to mimic something that the freshwater guys do a lot with the motion going towards the ocean. Actual ocean over there. But I think that something that's missing from a lot of scapes these days is just nothing. You know what I mean? So when you got nothing, you got a whole lot of room for fish to swim and things like that. So all your critters can live in the scape, and your larger fish can kind of come out here, and maybe you put a GSP carpet down here or something. There's so many different options, I think. Yeah, I think the other side was going to be bare bottom too, but I just kind of moved the sand over there. You can't see it from where you're sitting, though. That's my scape. Thanks.
All right, good job, Remy. Kevin, take us on the tour of your tank.
So I was really trying to go with more of the bonsai style with a lot of the branch and extensions. And the trend of the hobby tends to gravitate more towards having places to position a lot of frags. So I wanted to have a lot of different attachment points for people to do that and really see things grow out and fill the space. And if you look at the structure, there's all sorts of open spaces and caves, not just small where tiny fish can go into, but a lot of the tangs and things can actually seek refuge in there and find hiding places at night. So I think I was able to pull that off well, where it would be very functional as a more minimal style look, but still have hiding places for fish, which a lot of those aquascapes these days aren't really hitting. I did like to go a little higher too, to again create a nice depth and position where you can really attach pieces and get a lot of motion up top. I don't usually like to go too far back because that creates a lot of channels by having that open where the fish can swim through, and a lot of times you can position pumps where they can really keep it clean too, because you have very minimal rock actually contacting the sand bed. A lot of times you'll get the effect of a bare bottom tank without actually having to skip the sand. And most of our systems, when we run rocks like this, we have no problem keeping the nutrients down as far as nitrates and phosphates, just because there's not really anywhere for the stuff to settle. And it really leaves a lot of open sand too for you to place different corals that like to dwell down there, like plate corals and acanthos and trachees, wellsels, all that kind of stuff too. And a lot of times I like to create coves that are semi-shaded, where you can place a small island rock, maybe make a mushroom garden, something like that, where it's going to be a little diffused as far as the flow and lighting as well. So overall, I think it came out really nice. What do you guys think?
Well, we'll see what the applause meter has to say. All right, so now I got to do my inspection to make sure you guys a little tight there. I have a what do you call it? A mag float might not get in there. That piece is just kind of floating around. I'm telling you, if mag float wouldn't get in there, I'll tell you that. The back, I don't care. All right, earthquake test. Hang on. I'm more worried about the stand than your rockscape. So, all right, we got kind of. I don't care about the back. The back, I don't feel wide open here. You have your mag float or your flipper that's going to go around all you want in there. Nah, that's solid. Yours kind of rock and roll. Like there's a metric ton of glue in this one. So, just saying. That's the true test right there. Go ahead, Remy. Pick yours up. Let's see how yours goes. That's a solid. So, all right. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up the official Aquashella Applaustron 5000. All right, on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1, Remy. All right, that maxed out at 97.3, number on the right. 97.3, number on the right. All right, and for Kevin. I don't know. That was close. It wasn't. Kevin is the defending champion with 102 max. Winner of the Saltwater Aquascape at Aquashella Orlando 2022. Good job, buddy. Joanne, we got a trophy. We got a medal. Yeah, here we go. Here he is, Mr. Aquascape. There it is. One final round of applause for our competitors. Any? You want to make fun of Remy or anything?
No, honestly, he did a great job. I really liked the look he went with. It was like he was saying more freshwater inspired with the the balance and the open space, which is a look that I feel is underappreciated in the hobby, and it's something that I think a lot more people are trending towards in the future. So it's a cool tank, and with the right coral placement, I mean, I could see a lot of that ending up being a really nice SPS tank, with a lot of space up top for stuff to grow out, and a lot of room down here for all your meats and things like that. So definitely a cool scape. You did a great job.
All right, that's it. Thank you guys for the scape off. Coming up next is our keynote speaker.